you folks. Okay, I have just shared the live feed with a couple of friends. Don't know if they'll be on or not. If not, it's fine because like a lot of folks, they will leave comments for me after a video is live. And yes, I know my camera's flipped. I've tried to fix it. There's something in the settings that I haven't figured out yet. It's a Samsung thing. So, I feel like today is just like the best possible day to be wearing this. Probably one of my new favorite Sailor Moon related shirts. Got it from Hot Topic. It's Black Lady or Wicked Lady if you remember the Deke dub. You folks know I'm a huge Chibiusa fan. I don't know how much the sound is picking up on my camera. My husband is watching our baby right now, and we're going through some teething stages. All normal stuff, just he's got a new tooth coming in, and it's going to be a minute. But anywho, if you are just joining me and you saw the title of the video, then you know I have some news. It happened. It finally happened. It really happened. My stalker got arrested. My stalker is currently behind bars at my local jail. So, for those who maybe don't know the story, let's just roll back a little bit. So I've been stalked nonstop since January 5th of 2018 by a woman who I thought was named Tracy. Turns out her name is Chon Lore. And some of you who are maybe old school DeviantArt fans, you may know her as Cutechong. And some of you who are coming in from Facebook know her as Tracy Milosevic, or Tracy Lore, or Celeste Lynn Lore. There's a bunch of names that she's had. And some of you coming from Instagram know her as Sailor Seachan. I knew her as Tracy for 10 years. We had a falling out. I told her I didn't want any more contact with her. And that's when the stalking began. And it sounds like my husband is about to get the baby a bottle. I can tell by the cries. So, for years and years, since January 5th, 2018, until this past summer, I kept going to the police and going to the police and going to the police. And some days I felt like somebody heard me. Most days I didn't. Most days I felt like I was talking at a brick wall. Just nobody took it seriously. There were cops that were like, oh, well, maybe you should just keep ignoring her. And I'm like, if ignoring your stalker worked, nobody would be dead from stalking. There would be no stalking crimes at all in America. Ignoring the problem is basically giving them permission. I had police officers who told me, oh, well, we know you blocked 100 accounts, just block 100 more. And I'm like, that's not solving the problem. That's just playing this little rat race game. Okay, it sounds like my hubby got him the bottle. And I had some police officers actually tell me I needed to befriend her more. Just try harder to be friends with the person who's stalking me and threatening to physically assault me. And you know what? I'm not going to use algorithm speak. Fuck it. She threatened to kill me. I'm just going to use blunt language. I'm not monetized on this channel. I never have been. I don't know why YouTube runs ads when they don't pay me, so I'm just going to tell the truth. She threatened to kill me. She threatened to kill everyone around me. She threatened to rape me. No, I don't want to be friends with somebody who does that. Friends don't threaten friends. We all went to kindergarten, right? I had police officers that wanted me to try being her friend harder, and I'm like, not happening. Okay, I had 10 years of being her best friend, and she stabbed me in the back. So no, I don't want to be friends with somebody who does that. I have better friends now. So from 2018 to 2025, that's a ridiculous amount of time to not only retell your story, relive your trauma, make report after report after report. I think I have about 122, no, 124 reports with the with the police station here in Michigan City, with a couple of stations in Wisconsin, with 2 in Mississippi, with 1 in Colorado, because she moves around a lot. This was a nightmare. So for all these years, I kept making police reports. I am on my 4th restraining order. And then over the last month, things got weird. Super weird. I started getting some weird messages. And at first I'm thinking, this has to be Chon again. What account am I blocking this time? Was it from Chon? Or from her flying monkeys? Or from anybody else who bought her sob stories on her WordPress, which is quite the read. I don't recommend going through that. But I started getting some weird messages, and I couldn't figure out who the sender was, if the sender was even a person. We've got AI bots now. So I was getting weird messages in regards to some of the charges. Now, to the best of my knowledge, as far as Indiana goes, she had 2 felony warrants and a bunch of misdemeanors. And my understanding is somebody in the system, because everybody in Michigan City has posted about this for unrelated crimes, somebody's noticed that there's been like duplicate reports. So they're just doing the common sense thing, consolidating and smooshing them all together into one nice big blob. And it made sense. Once I understood that was the process, I was like, okay, that explains why the mycase.indiana website is totally weird now. And I get it. So I guess I just got to wait for whatever happens next, because this is kind of new territory. So then I keep getting more weird messages, and I'm thinking, all right, it's got to be automated. It's some computer out there somewhere messaging me, whatever. And then about, let's see, today's the 26th. Happy birthday, CM Punk. Fun fact, this was almost my son's due date, but the doctor had me induced on the 10th. Anywho, so I keep getting these messages. Hey, GQ Vox, thank you for joining me. Yes, yes, and we're getting into how this all happened. So I'm still getting these weird automated messages. My guess is they're from the court system, because they're consolidating all of these cases against her. And I don't put any more thought into it because I have no education on this. I have no knowledge on this. So I can't speculate on what I have no idea what's going on. So, I just kind of leave it be. And then let's see, today's the 26th. So the messages started continuing until the 9th. And then the 10th, it's my son's first birthday. And he's gone down for his birthday napty booze. He likes chocolate cake now. We metered out what we gave him because, like, the pediatrician said, don't overblow it on sugar. And he's more into savory foods than sweet anyway. He's more of a veggie kid instead of a fruit kid right now. So we gave him like a little bit of chocolate cake. He liked it, and then he took a napty boo. So while he's on napty boo time, and I'm cleaning up from the chocolate cake, I get a phone call. It's our brand new victim's advocate. Don't remember her name, but this lady is awesome. She is so smart and so super smart, so super educated on this. So we have a wonderfully long talk. Hey, thank you, Classic Dreamer. Yeah, thank God. We're about to get into that part of the story. So we have this wonderful long talk, and she has me catch her up on a few things about Chon. I recount the story, and she's like, okay, that matches exactly what we have in our file, itemized list and all that. And while she's on the phone with me, my mom goes to check the mail, and my mom's like, hey, you and I both got letters from the prosecuting office. What happened? And the victim's advocate overhears that, and she goes, great, you got the packets. And I'm like, what packets? What's going on? So she tells me that in regards to me, they filed a no contact order on Chong, meaning that she contacts me one more time, it's a trip to prison. at this point in the story, I don't know what's already happened, and neither does the victim's advocate. So I'm like, okay, well, that sounds good. And I look over the packet, and it's basically, if you've never been stalked, it's a welcome kit. You get a formal letter from the prosecutor's office. You get a 2-page thing that you have to mail back. What has being stalked done to you mentally? What's it done to you fiscally? Has this person physically harmed you? Has this person stolen money or items from you? If so, do you have proof of it in case we can get some restitution on her? That sort of thing, and just in brief terms, it's like about as much to write as a Twitter post. I'm not calling it X. And you just like real quick write down what this person did to you, you sign and date, and you send it back. Mom got the same packet, and then Mom was like, okay, well, I understand why Corey got this. Why did I get this? Well, the victim's advocate explained that my mom is on my restraining order too. So it's me, my husband, our baby, my mom, and my brother that are all named on the restraining order because Chon has threatened all 5 of us. You remember that I said my son's a year old, right? She started threatening him when he was in the womb, in case I have not yet outlined what a monster she is. And a pedophile. So, they said the first no contact order is for Corey. The second no contact order is for you in regards to my mom, because when the prosecutor went through Chon's blog, we found some posts that are backdated about as far as 2019, where she names you and she talks about you in a derogatory way. And she talked about my dead baby sister who passed away from medical malpractice. And she very, very, very grossly went into detail about my mom and my sister. And based off of what they found that she wrote about my mom, they were like, you need no contact order too. You need extra protection. It's not enough to have just a restraining order. So they issue a no contact order for my mom. And then she said, oh yeah, folks, my son, by the way, is not the first baby that she's threatened. She, one of her ex-boyfriends on DeviantArt, she actually threatened his wife when she was pregnant with their child. I don't know if that was a successful pregnancy or not, but she hounded this woman all through her pregnancy, and I never knew about it because this predates when I knew her. And she got thrown out of the, I think it's called the Hannah Center in Wisconsin. She got thrown out of the Hannah Center because she put hands where hands don't belong on a newborn and ran away before the cops got her. So my son is not the first baby she's threatened. She also went after the baby niece of a friend of mine. This is how insane this woman is. So anywho, I get the no contact order to protect me. My mom gets no contact order. We're told that there are additional court dates being set up. We know definitively one is on November 21st. We don't know what that entails. And again, the victim's advocate didn't have the information, prosecutor didn't have the information, so I can't give what none of us had. But she said there may be an additional court case between then, and there may be court cases after that 21st date. We're just waiting for the state of Indiana. We know that an Indiana judge has made a decision. We're waiting to see what the decision was. So I was like, okay, cool. So I get additional paperwork in the mail. I send that back, and my mom sends back the paperwork, and we make copies of our no contact orders because we got to give this to our landlord, of course. And I don't know what to think. That's kind of it for like a good couple weeks. Okay, so that was the 10th. Overnight last night, those automated messages, those computerized messages come back. And I'm like, what is with these messages? So just out of curiosity, I start Googling whatever. And I was looking up arrest records because there's an additional problem that I've dealt with, which will be in another video, that was kind of interesting. That's a story for a different time involving a different person. And I'm just like, why can't anybody get a life anymore? So out of curiosity, I was like, while I'm on this website, oh, you are free to drop the F-bomb. Fuck, fuck, fucky, fuck, fuck. I'm dropping lots of them. Don't worry about algorithm speak with me. You are in a safe zone. Drop all the language you want, my friend. So while I was on this website for looking up arrest records, just jokingly, I didn't take anything seriously. I typed in Chon's name and bingo! So all those weird computerized messages that I kept getting was because she got arrested. Now, I've got 2 websites. I've put them in. Hi, Star Angel. That's a cute Sailor Mars profile pic there. So anyway, I got 2 of these. I have the links to both in the video description, along with Artist Aware's page on her, because apparently she went after the person who runs Artist Aware way hard, and I didn't know about that till 2 years ago. This one, the first link after Artist Aware, this will be a lot easier to go through. This one, you will have to type in a CAPTCHA and then search for the name Chon Lore, but this all pops up with like all kinds of extra deets. So what happened? What happened? Well, apparently, let me find this one. So on September 29th, which was 2 days after my wedding anniversary, she was in Michigan City. She was here. And she was here because she was trying to find me to kill me. And fortunately, I don't know the details. I don't know if they're going to release the body cam footage. I don't know if there's body cam footage because our police force, they're kind of, I don't think they got fully funded. I think they're missing some funds. But whatever the detail was, someone did their job. Some nice police officer did his job. Long story. Some nice police officer did their job and took her into custody at fucking last. Now, I have since checked with some people in the system to confirm, yes, she came to Michigan City looking for me. And she had plans to kill me. She had plans to come after everybody in my household, but I was, of course, subject numero uno. But she had no problems with going after my son, my husband, my mom, my brother. She just wanted to start with me first, because I guess I'm the favorite out of the bunch. Now, when I heard this, I kind of went through a roller coaster of emotions, as you can imagine. The first emotion, my mom and my husband are still trapped on for right now, because it's really set in now that everybody's had a good night's sleep, because we found out late at night. So now that we've all had some sort of sleep, well, some of us more than others, my mom and my husband are still in this first part, which is, this is insane. This is insane that it went this long and it got so crazy that she physically came here looking for me. And of course, we're all just thankful that a nice police officer got to her in time and intervened, because we don't want to think about what the alternate universe of that story would have been. Obviously, I wouldn't be doing a video. You'd just be learning about me on the 6 o'clock news. You'd see some like dumbass photo of me taken from years ago where I'm just like, and it would have been like, influencer dead by crazy stalker bitch. It's just something like that. But a police officer did his job, but like the first obvious emotion is, holy shit, she was actually going to make good on those threats that she made since 2018. And it was just the grace of God Almighty and a good police officer that this story didn't end differently. I'm glad the police are doing their job in this scene. I am too, given how long this has been. So, of course, that's the first emotion. The second emotion I had was, of course, anger. I am so grateful for this good police officer. And yes, I've met multiple good police officers. You don't have to tell me they exist. I've already met them. But to get to this one good police officer, I had to go through so many who gaslit me, who laughed about this, didn't take it seriously, who poo-pooed it from 2018 to 2025, which is a ridiculous number of years, they were just like, oh, well, just ignore it and she'll go away. So I felt angry. And, there were so many people, not just in the police world, but in my own personal life, who told me, you're paranoid, get over it. She won't actually do it. She's just, she's just Chong. Like, they thought this was a joke. And I kept screaming for all these years. I know her. I've known her for 10 years. When she sets her mind to something, it takes an act of Congress to get her mind off of it. She is plotting my demise. And no one heard me. And finally, it took this one good Samaritan, good police officer, who I hope gets an award for this, to do his job and arrest her before somebody realized, oh, hey, she crossed state lines. She really was going to do this. You think? Like, if somebody says for years and years and years they're going to commit a violent crime, just take it seriously. Act as though they've already bought the weapon. That way, when you go to arrest them and you find the weapons in the car, it's not as big of a surprise, Like, just because she's a girl, just because she's short, just because she's, not your stereotypical stalker type, she doesn't look like somebody from Lifetime Channel, doesn't mean that she isn't dangerous. She uses guns. She's had guns for years. I wouldn't know that except the judge told me they had to take the guns from her the last time I had to get my restraining order upped. She has a history with guns. Why wouldn't you take that seriously? And I know a lot of cops, because it says so right here, she's 4'9". Yes, guns. And when I say guns, I don't mean super soakers. I mean the kind that are usually seen on the news. She's had an AR-15 before. She's had military-grade pistols. She don't play. And I know people up in the fields, they look at her height, and according to this docket, she's 4'9", so she's lots shorter than what she told me. She told me she was 5'2". And on her license, she said she was Usagi size, 4'11", but she's 4'9", and a lot of people look at her and they're thinking, oh, well, she's 4'9", so that's legally a little person. So, oh, little people can't do anything. You don't need to be tall to be a criminal. You can be short and be a criminal. Criminals come in all sizes. Did nobody watch Batman growing up? So I was obviously infuriated. I feel like if we didn't have discrimination, maybe somebody would have taken this seriously sooner. They looked at her and they thought she's a short woman and she's ethnically nondescript. Her family is all Hmong. Reminds me of my old neighbor who got kicked out for being a child predator to his own daughters. Oh, dude, I am so sorry. And I don't mean, like, dude, like, in any sort of gender context, because, like, I've been called dude before, and I grew up with, like, Good Burger before we all saw Quiet on Set, so, oh, thank God you got a restraining order on that person. Wow, that's messed up. Not the first time I've heard of something like that, which is more messed up, but that's messed up. But, like, it pissed me off that because she's a short woman, nobody thought she was capable of this until a police officer did his job, and they were like, oh, she's totally capable of this. Crime comes in all shapes and sizes. You can be a little person, you can be a giant, and you can have the exact same propensity towards crime, and in her case, guns, as anybody else on God's green. Crime does not know a size or a gender. So I was, of course, pissed off about that. I was like, I wish to God somebody had done this sooner. Think about how my health would be if this happened sooner. Look at all the gray hairs I've got. I'm not 40 yet, but I've got a ton of silver hair now from all the stress that this caused me. What if somebody did their job sooner? And then, of course, I got mad on behalf of other people because I'm not her only victim. I might be her favorite, but I'm not the only one. She went after so many of my friends, and she went after so many people who I've met post-Chon that, it's insane what they had to put up with. And then the children. All the times that she went after other people's children. I have a friend who was out in Colorado, she went after her kids. Housing Association kicked him out, had guns and assorted gators. Oh my gosh. Whew, I can't imagine what you went through. You went through something real scary. I know Chon tried to follow me. Yep, that's why you got a couple of weird messages from me in the middle of the night, because I knew what she was doing. Because she's also like hella obsessed with Hatsune Miku, and when she goes into her Miku fit, my God, she goes crazy. But like, I thought about all my friends who had kids. There's one friend out in Colorado. I think she changed her name because I can't find her on Facebook no more. But she's had to change her identity. And Chon lived with her for like 6 months, and her husband and her two, at the time, little kids. Chon made posts on Facebook when she finally threw her out that were very graphic about her children, and how she had bought the 6-year-old, a Hello Kitty doll, and she stuffed it full of needles and handed it to the kid. And my friend went through all of her daughter's Hello Kitty stuff, and now she won't even buy Hello Kitty because of what Chon did. And like, this poor girl had to burn sage and change her name and everything, so Chon would just leave her and her children alone. And I got another friend who, like I said earlier, Chon went after her baby niece. And her little sister at the time was still in high school, and she had this baby, and Chon was making very sexual posts about this kid. And this kid wasn't even old enough for, like, to sit up or have an opinion yet. And that's so mentally fucked up. And now that I am a parent, that's even more fucked in my head, when you think about the age of a child through your own child's eyes, And the shelter that threw her out, the Hannah Center that threw her out because she was around those children. I'm just thinking about all these kids. And her ex-husband, Sean, who's a nice person, she went after his niece and scared the crap out of him and his mom. And his niece at the time was not yet 7. And I just think about how she went after all these other people and threatened them, and all of these children. And I don't want to repeat what I saw that she was posting about these little kids. And I just think, my God, what if somebody had gotten this monster off the streets sooner? Those children would never have to know that trauma. Because when an adult comes at you, and you're still a little kid, still processing the world, this isn't a play school bully. This is a grown adult with desires and an agenda. That stays with you for the rest of your life, and it haunts your nightmares in ways that it's unfathomable. It's bad when you have a stalker as a grown-up. It's so much worse being a little kid. And I just thought, what if these kids didn't have to go through this? What if somebody arrested her the first time I called the police? And none of these children had to deal with that. And what if? Of course we could what if ourselves till we're blue in the face, and we're never going to have the answer. But I thought about that heavily, because I can't just be selfish. I'm not the only victim. And then I thought, after I came down from that little episode, I went through elation. There's no other word I can use but elation, because, like, I'll tell you the truth about myself. I fantasized about her being arrested so many times. Maybe it was manifestation, like The Secret says. You be the judge. Your choice. But when I finally saw this mugshot, it was unlike anything I expected. It was absolutely not like what I was expecting at all. It just seemed so much better because it's real. I thought in my head a million scenarios and a million different ways that she could be arrested and found, and what her mugshot would look like, and all of them were just movie of the week bullshit. Very anime heavy, some were comedic. But to see it for real, there's no Photoshop, there's no AI, this is a real, honest to God mugshot. Yeah, booga booga booga, Freddy Krueger, right? To see her thinning hair and her Shawn Michaels gaze, where the eyes are just not going to look in the camera at the same time. You got to pick one. The marks on her face, I don't know what that is, and I don't have to know what that is. And just this look of, damn, I got caught. on her face. It's not sorrow. It's not even anger. It's just, oh no, busted. Went to that neighbor's house, drawing my Pikachu in my notebook. He asked twice if I liked my Pikachu fan character. Well, that's not nice. You shouldn't be gay shamed over that. Everybody likes Pikachu. Oh, that's why he did that. Oh. I hope that guy is just like behind bars forever. That's just not right. But like, just to see the look on her face. Just look at it. She's not even like truthfully angry or sad. She's just like, aw, I got caught. You know, it was truly mind-boggling looking at this. I must have stared at this for like most of the night. Between, feeding the baby and changing diapers, I must have spent like most of my night, maybe about 2 hours, just staring at it, just in awe that it actually happened. Here comes real life, and that thing that you thought about for years is happening. Just truthfully amazing. And then, of course, I had to read, what about the... No, although, fun fact, she actually was friends with Chris Chan. I'm not even making this up. Like, the time that Chris Chan got out of prison, had escaped from prison the old Bugs Bunny way, after being arrested for doing that thing with his mother we're not going to discuss because that's disgusting. And that's worse than what this one did with her dad. Get therapy. Yeah, she actually, like, started a campaign on Twitter standing up for Chris Chan, and she tried really hard to ask Chris Chan on a date, and they said no. You got turned down by Chris Chan. She got turned down by Chris Chan. She got turned down by Chris Chan. When I told my brother that, he had to call off work. He was laughing too hard. But anywho, wish that was a joke, and it's not. It's just not. I spent like forever just looking at the sheet, and of course I had to find out. So there's like almost 9 years difference between you and I in age, because I'm gonna be 39 on the 3rd. But anywho, I had to look at the rest of the story, of course, and apparently she couldn't make bail. She had... Hi, Wolfwood. So from what I could find out, she couldn't make her bail. Popping bottles up in here. That's right. Oh, wow. Yeah, I do remember you when you were a teenager. Did I watch you grow up? Oh, snap. But anywho, like, not in a creepy way. Not in a creepy way. I was already married. But anywho, like, from what I could gather, from what I got from these sites and the phone calls that I made, they did give her a bond for one of the charges. She couldn't make it because she ain't got no money. And then the other 2 charges that they got her on, they did not set a bond, which means she ain't going nowhere. She's at the Michigan City prison. She's being held in my county, still behind bars. She ain't gonna be left out. She ain't gonna be let out. Not before trial. So, from what I understand, and it's not very much, and I'm gonna keep calling because I need some clarification. We've got that court date that I mentioned on November 21st. I don't know if I'm supposed to be there or if it's one of those Zoom calls, because we have a lot of Zoom court sessions here in Indiana. Michigan City especially, we have lots of Zoom calls. She had a Facebook group called Diary of a Writer. That's one of her Facebook groups. She also had Ink the Page, and you'll know it because it's a mostly white picture, but it's got like this little rainbow book on it. She also stole the name of S.E. Rose and tried to do her own S.M. Rose page, and I think Facebook took that one down. She also stole the name of my friend Koriander Bullard, and she tried to pose as my cousin, and she attacked Crystal, and Crystal was a stranger to her. She never spoke to her before. She went after a friend of mine named Phoenix, and Phoenix's, at the time, recently deceased mom. Really horrible. So of course I've been like emailing everybody that I know, going, like, hey, guess what? Because I know a lot of folks have court cases and court dates with her too. So, since she's still behind bars, now's a good time to call a lawyer, or more importantly, call your local police department. If you've previously had charges with her, file another report so that, you can get your due as well. But anywho, we know we've got a court date November 21st. Don't know what that entails. We have lots of court cases that are just Zoom only in my city, and some where you got to attend, and some where they say, this is not for the victim, this is just for the defendant. You're also in book 2. But hey, Holden. Yes, I got her mugshot. She actually came out here physically. So we know about the court date. I don't know if they need me or not, and I'm going to get more information. Supposedly there may or may not be another date unrelated to that. I don't know. Yeah, I know it's you. I didn't know if you wanted me using your actual name or not, though. That's why I'm not like using that yet. But we've got court dates, or court date, we don't know. So I guess we just kind of like play it from ear. I guess I just wait for the victim's advocate to call me, or I call her, and we kind of just go from there. I don't know what to expect. This is new territory. A lot of the rules kind of changed. New regime. So I don't know what to expect. But this is the giantest leap forward possible. She looks like a miserable and angry Eric Cartman. Well, you folks be the judge. John told me he was watching an old episode of Seinfeld, and there's a character named Hop Sing. And he said that Hop Sing looked a lot like her. Ironically, she has an uncle who looks just like this Hop Sing character, and he actually passed away in prison from also being a pedophile, so we now know in the family where she got it from. But yeah, you can make your own judgments. I try to withhold judging people's faces, but you can make your own judgment. I'm trying to, just chill here. But yeah, we just go from there. God willing, we will see her behind bars for a long, long time. Forever? I don't know. But, just keep her behind bars because she is a monster. That would be my hope. That she would never come out. I'd be preferred to be called by my nickname Mar. Okay. I didn't know if it was okay to say Roger, but I knew it was you because I remembered your, I can't think anymore, your YouTube icon. But I just want to be fair because, like, I know some folks, like, change names and such, and I'm trying not to dead name folks. I didn't mean to, but I did dead name a few people, so I'm trying to get better. But anywho, I guess we play this by ear. I guess we try and just figure out what the next step is. My hope is that they keep her behind bars. If we could just keep her there forever, that would be great. Alternatively, making sure that she is supervised. She's put on a registry. One of my friends who she attacked accused him of rape around 2004. Yep. She's obsessed with 6-year-olds. I don't know what it is about the number 6, but, like, she used to write fan fictions and stories about 6-year-olds spontaneously combusting, and if she knows there's a 6-year-old in the house, she goes after that person extra hard. And it is so creepy. I don't know what the fixation is on the number 6. I don't care. I just want her behind bars forever. I'm hoping that she'll stay behind bars forever. I'm hoping that somebody will monitor her forever and make sure that she does not touch anything resembling a smartphone or a computer. I don't even want the bitch on Nintendo anymore. Because she also tried to solicit kids via Animal Crossing while we were all suffering through the pandemic. I just don't want to have this bitch come back ever again. I want her to be permanently supervised. I want her to stay behind bars. I want to never have to hear about her ever again. And I don't want anyone else to have to hear about this either. I hope that there is a responsible adult who will not only keep her behind bars, but will also keep tabs on her while incarcerated and make sure she never touches a computer or a smartphone ever again. Because I do know that some prisons, I don't know about this one, but some prisons, they do allow inmates like these little tablet things. They kind of look cute. Family members can like put money onto it like a payphone, and you can go on the internet and everything. And there's other prisons that like give inmates internet jobs and call center jobs. So next time, you get mad at somebody on a call center job, probably be nice to them. They might be, behind bars. So I don't know what the issue would be, if they would just put her in the license plate division or not, but I hope that someone supervises her so she can never come after anybody ever again. I hope that if they do decide she's mentally unfit, that she will be put into a hospital of some sort where real doctors can make sure that she is no longer a menace to herself or anyone else again. I just hope that whatever we come up with, whatever the courts decide, that it's in my favor, and that all of us, because it's not just about me, all of us who've been affected, all of us who've had to deal with her, all of us who've been traumatized by her, and all of us who have had children that she's gone after, I hope all of us will be just saved from her and we can all just move on. That would be my greatest wish, is for none of us to have to deal with this ever, ever, ever again. So fingers crossed. If you are religious, say some prayers for this, because I don't want her coming after any of us ever again. So this video was a little longer than I expected it would be. So anywho, hope for peace, hope that this is going to remain like permanent, where we don't see her out and about ever again, and she's never on the internet again. And I hope that this is in some way a lesson to somebody else out there. If you've got someone in your life, like if you're a parent watching and your kids are a little obsessive online, or if you have an obsessive friend or spouse or what have you, and they kind of go overboard with, online wars, I hope this is a lesson for you to get that person help so that they don't become this. Do not let this be your end goal. Don't let this be your end game. Don't end up on the 6 o'clock news, behind bars, or on a Netflix special or an HBO documentary. Just don't let that be your end goal. If it gets to the point where you cannot function without hounding somebody over and over and over again, get some help. Ask a psychiatrist about medication. Ask to have your MRI and your CAT scan done. See if it'll be covered by insurance, because honestly, that would be a healthier route than, ending up with so much internet folklore. My husband said that this would make an interesting Netflix documentary. So you decide amongst yourselves if you would actually want to sit through that. But anywho, I think I've talked enough. I think I need to go downstairs and relieve my husband and look after the baby, get some dinner, because I just realized what time it is. And those who know me know that this doll is part of the story too, and I'm not going into that. So let's just hear her have her thoughts about this. So, anywho, I'm just going to go get some food. I think I've earned some carbohydrates. Sailor Chibi Moon says, "Don't be a creep." Majorly, majorly. So thank you, folks, for checking in on me on this insane story. And as I turn the camera off, I'm just going to leave you with this wonderful mugshot. Hope that doesn't haunt your dreams too bad. And I will see you folks soon. Happy Halloween.